What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. Today, here it is, November 23rd. We're going to talk about Bitcoin Cash and what in the world is going on here. What is driving Bitcoin Cash? Well, there's actually one country that's driving Bitcoin Cash. And how do we find that out? So, we will dig in here to the markets, and we will see where the volume's coming from. And you can see right here, 42% of the volume is coming from BitThumb and this Korean won, okay? So $1.5 billion is pouring into Bitcoin Cash from Korea. Now, I don't know exactly where it's at just by looking at this, but I do know that it's coming through BitThumb, and it's a Korean won that's pouring in a lot of market capitalization, which is driving the price. So, as investors, we got to do a little bit more digging here, and that's what we're here to do at Altcoin Buzz. We want to know what's behind all this, and is Bitcoin Cash gonna really pump and take off, and that's what we need to know, right? So, if we just look at the monthly chart for Bitcoin Cash, if we take it back to October 23rd, that would have been a great time to buy Bitcoin Cash. The general rule of thumb with a lot of these cryptocurrencies, these forks, or Bitcoin forks, so to speak, or any of the forks that are out there, because Litecoin's a fork of Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys knew that, but Charlie Lee even said that Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin. And so if you take a look at the price of Bitcoin Cash, 320, if you were holding Bitcoin in your wallet, or maybe even some exchanges. Now, exchanges, that's a whole other story all in of itself. But if you were holding Bitcoin in your wallet on the day when Bitcoin Cash first came out, you would have got Bitcoin, okay? You would have got Bitcoin on one Bitcoin. If you had one, or if you had 3 Bitcoin, you got 3 Bitcoin Cash. That was at $556 when it came out. Right now, on the monthly, you could have got it a whole lot cheaper than if you got it, for free, right? So some people, what happened with the Bitcoin Cash was they got it and they dumped it, and then it drove the price down, and then it pumped again, and then it came back down. And then here recently, in the last month, we've seen the price action all the way up to, 2100 was it? I want to say somewhere around that range, 2306, right? So that's a great price for a Bitcoin Cash, and people were actually concerned. They were saying, is Bitcoin Cash going to surpass Bitcoin? And the reality is, is Korea going to make Bitcoin Cash take over Bitcoin? Because they were the only ones who are really excited about that. And if you know about the people behind Bitcoin Cash, that's really important to dig in, check out their website, get to know what is the deal with Bitcoin Cash. So there's actually people behind this who are driving this. It's not just the decentralized Bitcoin currency. To suspect that Bitcoin Cash could actually take out Bitcoin is, I think, a little bit far-fetched. But like I was trying to say earlier, have one Bitcoin Cash in your wallet just in case it does, for whatever reason, end up becoming a better store of value or a better cryptocurrency than Bitcoin itself. I also recommend holding one Bitcoin Gold, which if you already held one Bitcoin, you would have got one of each already if you had it in your wallet. Now, that's just a general rule of thumb. You don't have to do that. But that general rule of thumb is hold a Bitcoin Cash, and hold a Bitcoin Gold that you hold on to for the next however long this bull run rally that we have is, what people say is anywhere between 2 to 5 years. So we don't know how long the bull run rally is going to take, but early adopters like yourself who are watching this right now, assuming that you've actually put money into cryptocurrency, you could consider having one, right, of these Bitcoin forks. It's like a hedge against your investment in case BTC does not actually end up winning the race. But as of right now, we have no reason to believe that Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin original 2009 project will not forever and always be the #1, meaning that it will not be displaced. It will always be, is what I mean to say. All right, so and you've heard the rumors. I've heard it. I'll tell you the truth. I've heard it 500,000 Bitcoin. I've heard $1 million for one Bitcoin. I've heard up to $5 million for one Bitcoin. I mean, it really depends on who you're listening to and who you're taking advice from. But $100,000 for one Bitcoin would be nice, even, right? $10,000 for one Bitcoin would be nice for some of you who bought Bitcoin at 3,000 or even held on Bitcoin from 1 year ago. But let's go ahead and take a look more at what's driving the Bitcoin Cash price, because this is not a Bitcoin video. This is Bitcoin Cash. Flying high. Bitcoin Cash rallies on Korean volume spike. So it's basically Korea. It's Korea. South Korea is driving the price. We know about Jihan Woo. If you don't know who Jihan Woo is, you need to come over here and do a little bit of research. Jihan Woo. All right. So this is the guy who's behind Bitcoin Cash mining. And here he goes, the Revolution BCH. So Jihan Woo, he's a respected man in the community. So you should follow him on Twitter. Actually, I'm not even following him on Twitter. Wow. Here I am telling you guys to do something. I thought I was following Jihan Woo. BCH community needs to learn a hard lesson. Befriend with other competing coins. Learn from them and make BCH better. Don't play hatred. Don't wish competing coins ill. Just wish and try to make BCH better. So, like I said, he's a big force behind Bitcoin Cash. And if you're interested in Bitcoin Cash, you should follow Jihan Woo. As you know, I'm following him. I have other Twitter accounts, so this is not my only one. And he's also part of Bitmain. You can check out Bitmain, but let's go back to this. So Bitcoin Cash is flying high today and could gain more altitude in the near term. This morning, the Bitcoin Cash US dollar BCH to USD exchange rate clocked at 11-day high of 16.23 before losing some momentum. I'm not going to put the time out there, right? At press time, the world's third largest cryptocurrency by market volume is currently changing hands at 1508, up 21% for the last 24 hours, according to Coinmarketcap. Well, more realistically, it is currently at 1581 right now as we speak, as we drop this video. And let's go ahead and take a look here. So a look at the exchange data indicates that the rally is being fueled by Korean desks. Trading volumes in BCH to Korean won pair offered by Bithumb, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges in South Korea, have gone up by 42% in the last 24 hours. Driving the rise may be today's news that a South Korean financial regulator has said it has no plans to regulate cryptocurrency trading. So what happens? The Korean investors get a boost of confidence. They say, we have no plans to limit cryptocurrency anything. So if you're going to invest, it's they see that as blue skies ahead. Does it mean it's blue skies ahead? Yeah, sure, but it's the government. Anything's possible, right? So before you get all hyperactive and start doing crazy things, keep that in mind. It is the government. But South Korea and Japan, they've proven to be very loyal to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Driving the price may be today's news to South Korea. Okay, so we already talked about that. Meanwhile, the trading volume for the last 24 hours is well above 4 billion, the highest since November 13th. A high volume rally indicates an active market and that a rally is likely to be sustained. So, is Korean excitement going to pour over into other markets? Is Australia going to get on board? Is the European continent going to get on board? Are the Swiss going to get into it? Is the Americans going to get into it? Are people going to start following the Koreans' interest in Bitcoin Cash? Is Japan going to get behind it? At what point does Japan really start loading up, right? So are we looking at a pretty nice bull run for Bitcoin Cash? Well, this takes me back to the point that I said you'd probably want to hold at least one Bitcoin Cash, because as Bitcoin goes up, you can't help but wonder, well, is Bitcoin Cash going to, where do we have Bitcoin Cash? Is it going to pass Bitcoin More than likely, no. Is anything possible? Yes. This cryptocurrency is considered a little bit faster and a little bit more efficient because it's a fork of Bitcoin with all the added perks, right? Which is basically what Litecoin is. Litecoin is supposed to be the faster transaction speeds and all that. But Bitcoin Cash, being a Bitcoin fork, you see, if we just compare our market capitalization and we look at Litecoin, Litecoin is way behind Bitcoin Cash in market cap. I mean, you almost have to wonder, could Bitcoin Cash actually catch Ethereum? I don't know. And today we got news that Wall Street is finally conceding to the fact that blockchain is a great tech and that they were wrong about blockchain. Now, blockchain and cryptocurrency, how synonymous are they to each other? You know, is blockchain, does that mean that because they said blockchain, does that mean cryptocurrency? Or does that just mean, hey, we like blockchain, we didn't say cryptocurrency? You know, so we'll see what ends up playing out with that. But there is that play on words that we have to keep an eye on, right? And I'm not saying they're playing on words, but they're talking about blockchain. But when they say blockchain, do they also tip the cap to cryptocurrency, which is this whole thing right here, right? So Bitcoin Cash, summary here, Bitcoin Cash is being driven by the by a Korean pump, based on news that says that the Korean government does not plan to limit or ban cryptocurrencies or restrict cryptocurrencies in the short term. Let's just take a look and see how much Korean won is pouring into Bitcoin. So there's $203 million pouring into Bitcoin from the Korean won on Bitfinex, or I mean on BitThumb. So let's go back. So we got $203 million, almost 204 million for Bitcoin. And how much is pouring in to Bitcoin Cash? Bitcoin Cash. Let's see. Look at that. Over $1.5 billion. Why are they dumping so much more money into this is the thing. I mean, there's more money being put into Bitcoin Cash. The 24-hour volume is 3.7 for Bitcoin Cash, and for Bitcoin it is still higher, 4.1, but the 24-hour volume for Bitcoin Cash is really high right now. So you can be making some gains on Bitcoin Cash if this is sustainable growth. I mean, if Bitcoin Cash sustains this growth, which we cannot suspect, or we don't know if this is institutional. This could be institution. This could be one investor. This could be a series of investors. We don't know, but where's $1.5 billion in injection coming from? And, you know, if we only knew that answer, is it institutional, or is it just a bunch of private party people just pouring in, or is it both? So Bitcoin Cash, bull run coming up. It's still not getting a 24-hour volume that's past Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's still getting more money poured in on the 24-hour than Bitcoin Cash. If at any point the 24-hour volume for Bitcoin Cash starts to eclipse Bitcoin, that would be interesting. Now, does that mean that Bitcoin Cash is going to pass Bitcoin? Obviously, that would have to be sustainable, that more money is pouring into Bitcoin Cash than Bitcoin to pass Bitcoin. And we don't have any evidence to suggest that that is going to happen, because that would have to be sustainable, meaning that would have to happen over a series of time to catch Bitcoin. But it's possible. This is one hypothetical you have to keep an eye on. What if people started selling off Bitcoin to get into Bitcoin Cash? Now, if that happens, if they take profit on their Bitcoin position to pour it into Bitcoin Cash, then you see why you need to at least have one Bitcoin Cash, or maybe even more. And I'm spitballing hypotheticals and projections and things to keep an eye on. Whether or not any of this comes to fruition, who knows? And if you think you know, go ahead and drop a comment. But, I mean, these are things that you got to keep an eye on. Could people take their profit on Bitcoin? I mean, if you bought Bitcoin at $3,000, it's at $8,000, and you see massive growth potential with Bitcoin Cash, why not take out your one Bitcoin? If you have, let's just say you had 3 Bitcoin, why not sell one of those Bitcoins, take your profit, put it into this, fork it into what? How many Bitcoin could you buy at that price? At least 4, maybe 5. You could take 5. You could buy 5 Bitcoin Cash with that, thereabouts with that Bitcoin. 4 to 5 Bitcoin Cash with 1 Bitcoin right now. So that's why someone might try to fork like that. And if more and more people try to fork it, then you probably don't want to get out of your one Bitcoin position. You want to keep that for the long haul. Everyone does, but you get the dynamics that are shaping up here, and the thoughts that could be taking place with people, and even institutional buyers, which have the volume, right? Those are the big players that are moving millions of dollars in weight, and that's why we have, $1 million doesn't move the market, $1 billion barely moves the market, but it does really move the market. $1 billion can move the market. So if some of these whales are playing with $1 billion in the market and they're moving things, whether it be a Korean investment firm or whatever, they can make waves like what's happening right now. So it's just things to keep in mind. And as more whales pour in, that's what we kind of are looking for, is more whales to come in here to move the price up for us, the ones who came in when it was dirt cheap, right? And we're still getting in at dirt cheap prices right now, but at some point in time, that window is going to close, and then the whales are going to own everything, and that's just the way it works. I mean, you can assume that, oh no, this is always going to be the decentralized world. It's going to be tulips and reindeer and happy-go-lucky people all living in this utopia, or you can be like, well, hey, this is the real world. There is going to be whales, and there's going to be financial kings that are always going to exist and try to blow people around and use their money weight. So that's just the way it is with Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, the whole dynamic that exists. The more you know, the more you're clued in, the better off you'll be in protecting your investments and also making wise decisions, realizing that this is the world that we live in. That's what we're talking about here. Get clued in, make decisions, be innovative, be creative, but also watch your back, right? Watch your 6, as they would say. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this. Jeff with Altcoin Buzz. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already. And if you are subscribed, click the bell next to the subscribe button to get notified whenever a video drops. This is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz.